Okay. Level's good. Perfect. No, I'm excited. This is.
And you guys have all been in it for the past few years, and I'm just really wanting to talk about certain things. Well, and however you guys want to talk about some of these things too, it's up to you, or if you have ideas. But I want to talk about the identity. Do we have kind of an identity crisis when it comes to health clubs, gyms? You guys are private owners of gyms, so you guys have all done it. You guys all survived, which to me that's more of a testament to you guys and your fortitude, that I know you guys, that you have done everything you can to keep the business going. And then I want to get your thoughts on how some ways the business model has changed and what's come out of it. I want to see is what kept you guys together, first of all. Second of all, identity of industry. Why? Because I've been reading a lot about the business and how people were getting loans for their gyms and how the industry had to get a lobbyist. I don't know if you guys heard about this. IHRSA, and a group of companies, health club companies, gym companies, got together and hired, a lobbyist that had worked for the candy confectionery industry at one time. And she was a person who convinced Congress that candy is almost like broccoli, meaning you can serve it in schools, you can sell it. So they, at least in that mind, they hired somebody who can kind of convince people. I don't know whether it's, casual, how it is with being a lobbyist, but is that what we need? Do we need like someone who can kind of play fair and foul in a way where, a lobbyist can go in and get you guys, whether it's you or bigger companies, money to show that, okay, the fitness industry is a player. It's not just companies who can afford millions of dollars in lobbyist funds and go to Congress and try to get you guys money for your businesses. So it's like, are we playing this game now? Is this going to be our new identity? And is that okay? Meaning, okay, do we have to really get somebody in there to make the industry or Congress notice that you guys do need money to survive going forward? Or is it one of those things, okay, let yourselves be independent and we'll take care of ourselves kind of thing? And whoever wants to go first, Patrick, I'm going to talk to you just because I'm just by knowing you, your fortitude and just how you kept Pulse alive. Did you do it yourself or did you need help? Meaning, did you have community help? Did you have loan help? Did you have, and you don't have to give us the specifics. I
have no problem talking about it. Yeah. I think it was not intelligent to not apply for that free money. Mm-hmm. It was a cash grab. So no, we got all that money. I'm
all for staying alive.
Total
staying in business. Yeah.
I think I got, $80,000 free from the government, that was 80 grand. That was a lot of money. So in regards to, do we need a representative to speak for us in front of the government so that we can get more money? I think that just goes against something that I'm personally against, or my values. I think all the spending should stop, and that's just me personally. I think it's on everybody to make things happen, and innovation is just a natural part of life. And in capitalism, if you survival of the fittest. I know that's kind of harsh, but I mean, so is COVID. It's whatever. So that's my view. I don't think that I would want a representative fighting for me for free money. I think that's pointless. I think the only thing that we need to do as health club owners is we need to communicate to the public how important movement really is, and how important it's a part of your health and how it's medicine. And that's what I think is the most important thing. But I'm just not sure if you wanted me to speak about money or what, or just as a whole.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to, because it goes hand
Yeah.
in hand. Because we have to talk about the image, our identity. Not, you know, we want people to do it, but what about behind the scenes to make people aware? You know, if there's going to be, and I'm not talking free handouts, because I think any industry that has a lobbyist, all they're looking for is not so much handouts, but they're just looking for, I don't know, they're either looking for policy, which is hard to do I think in the fitness industry. What policy? We can't make people work out, right? But, you know, you have pharmaceutical industries, you have real estate industries that kind of vie for them to push certain policies, or, hey, you know, why don't you take some of this money and have it available for this industry as you did for the big companies? Just because we're small compared to these companies, why can't we get in there and get a chunk of this money to help? Now, I understand your point of view where you're thinking it's a handout, where it's not, it's still loans. It's just having more available, I think, what it is. It's not a free handout, because it is, you know, a loan, PPE loan.
I'll jump in if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
We have a couple $100,000 sitting in a bank account that we can't use, and so I'll trade all the money that you can give me for the opportunity to operate the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't, you know, kind of touching on what Patrick said, I think you nailed it, man. I think it's not about money. I think it's about the ability to be open, number one, and then number two, you know, spreading the evangelism of, you know, fitness and health as medicine, nutrition as medicine. I think if you did those two things, you can keep all the money you have, because we'd all be fine. I mean, we genuinely right now, between people leaving jobs and between people not being able to operate in where we're all operating. I'm not sure, Patrick, where you're at, but we're in Chicago.
Yeah, I know where you are. Highland
Okay.
Park, Illinois. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So,
right on.
north. Yeah.
I just got LASIK
Close
up
to
there last week, actually.
Who's your doctor?
Dr. Epstein.
Yeah.
Epstein. Yeah.
He
Cornea.
does all the LASIK. Yeah.
Yeah, he's killing it. It was my partner.
Come out here.
Now I got to come up there.
You know you're going to be here soon.
Yeah.
That's how
it was a shit show. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you nailed it, man. I think they can keep all the money they want. I think PPP was great, but they can keep the money. Just let us operate. And if we have a lobbyist, it should be a lot more about spreading the word of fitness and nutrition as health and medicine, for sure.
Which is another point to that. Haven't we been doing that? I mean, I've been doing it on both sides for decades, on both ends, academic and business side. And I know that's the tough part, because I was also thinking for the past 2 years, you're trying to get people healthy, trying to get people fit. You have programs that work, and we know it. You know it, I know it. There's nothing else. We know that there's no other thing that can make you healthy and build your immunity than exercise. There's no drug on the planet. We know this. There's no drug, all the research is there. There's no drug on the planet that can make you as healthy than exercise. It's like fivefold. They did the numbers. There's no, I mean, obviously, unless you're taking, you know, performance enhancing drugs, but that's performance. That's not health. 5 times, I think, five or six times. There's no drug on the planet that can make you healthy. You have to do the work. We know that. But that message is always lost for some reason. Like, we've been doing that and it still seems like we're still in the same numbers. And I'll share some numbers that I pulled up just so you can see, have our numbers moved? Meaning, are we growing?
Yeah. I don't know if Chris has any views, but, you know, I think, Don, what you're hinting at is that there's definitely a movement going on. You know, there's a movement. You know, people are gaining awareness of that this shit doesn't work anymore. These lies that they're being told, you know, Peloton, you know, it's like they realize that it's not working. There's an era. You can feel it. People want truth. They want information. They want truth. And it's our responsibility to educate ourselves with the latest and greatest techniques and tools to get people to where they are, which is sitting down in front of them, understanding what they personally need, because everybody starts somewhere different and they need a guide to help them get through that step by step, whether that's just sleeping. Just go to bed, dude. Get 7-8 hours of sleep. Just breathe, you know, just get some water in you a day. You know, these are the things that people need to establish, these fundamentals, and that truth is coming out. I think that's what you're hinting at. It's like, people feel it. And that's why these 30-day things, people don't buy that shit anymore. Or I don't think they do. I don't know anybody like that personally. And if I do know anybody, I'm going to be telling them like, you're an idiot, you know, because you're just going to end up right back where you were. But I feel like innovation is occurring in this industry, and I love it. I'm very excited about it. I think information always wins. And in the end, we're going to look back. You know, I would like to think 10 years from now, it's like, you know, we look back and we think about how far the industry has come, because that's where I see it going. I see information. I see cardiovascular testing. I see, you know, biometrics, you know, blood, you know, range of motion testing and loading that range, you know, it's cool. It's, you know, it's very exciting. And I think that we're going to get rid of all that BS that was there with your, you know, the group training, your, you know, that, you know, blast, go hard, hit, shut them. You know, it's like, that's gone, you know, if people are getting awareness, if they're getting injured, they're not getting results, and it catches up. And that's why I think a new era is being born.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we all see how it's become, how a lot of things have become fractured. It's not big box anymore. We know that. It's everything is kind of separated. There's individual type of workouts. And Chris, Chris, yeah, I want to talk to you about innovation too, and just how you added a kind of a new business model. And Jason, I want to talk to you about, because of how CrossFit came along as a different type of workout, and how that created a culture of exercise, and how people were using that as a new way of working out. And then I want to talk about how innovation that Patrick was talking about, how it helped each of your businesses. Like what were you able to pull out of it that gave you another source of either revenue or just connection with people? Because we know online revenue had gone up for a lot of companies, even though overall in the industry went down. Like it dropped from 30 to 50, depending on which company it was worldwide. So we know it dropped, but we also know the numbers of maybe online activity went up. And is that the new thing? There used to be companies that ran this for you guys. They would offer classes that can come to your places. Is this something that you guys are now going to take hold of for yourselves, creating your own apps, maybe creating your own video online, or is that not worth it? You just want to focus on the core? And let's go with there. Whoever wants to go, let's talk about innovation. Online classes. Do you guys need to take this over yourselves, creating your own content, or still using other people's technology, and how that affects your revenue?
Sorry, Chris, what do you do again? And
Chris,
sorry, I missed that.
Chris owns Hustle Fitness in Lincoln Park.
Yeah, Hustle. Yeah, that's right, Hustle. Yeah, I've heard of Hustle. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So
and
we're
and
a
he chokes people out too.
occasionally, if I can get on their back.
And Chris is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu too. He's one of
brown belt.
That's how I know Chris and Jason from. I knew them from.
We all do jits. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Cool. Sweet. What's up, brother?
And Chris and Patrick, we should say, was also MMA fighter.
Oh wow!
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah. I still beat him, but that's okay. Oh wait, not MMA.
What the fuck you just said? What the fuck?
No way.
This podcast is about to take a turn.
No way.
Good thing we're not in studio.
Yeah.
Right.
So Chris, let's go with you first as far as innovation and online classes. And do you think it's something that you guys will have to start controlling yourselves, maybe making your own content, apps?
Yep.
Making your own specific Hustle Fitness app instead of letting other people take control of the content. I don't know. I'm just thinking as far as innovation, how you can take that.
So currently, yeah, we have our own app, but I do have another company that developed it, and then I pay them a fee. And part of me does wish that I had just invested the money up front to just kind of create it my own, which I may do down the road. But at the timing, it was kind of the easier decision was just to have someone else do it and pay them the fee. But yeah, so we do create our own content already. We stream all of our classes online. So we're a functional training studio. So we do personal training, we do group training, which is up to 15 people doing the same workout. Personal training, obviously pretty self-explanatory. And then we had a virtual program that we started in 2019, which we had 2 people doing. And then in 2020, we ended up moving like 90 people over to our virtual platform. We were offering personal training, group training, on that. And we basically just we stream the class live, and then we post the recording. And then my kind of position with that is I don't think that's ever going to go away. But I think over the last couple of years, with so many people doing virtual training, and kind of to Patrick's point on that, people get hurt if they're not getting enough instruction. And you really can't provide someone the same instruction that you can virtually that you can in person. I mean, in person, we can walk around, you can mold people to certain positions. There's a whole other aspect to it. There's auditory learners, visual learners, and kinesthetic learners. Exactly. Like people, auditory, it works the same on Zoom. Visually, it works pretty close, but we still can't get a full picture of everything. Kinesthetically, that aspect is taken away. So I do think there's going to be a stronger movement, when things get a little bit better and calm down a bit, where people are going back into gyms a lot more and valuing personal training and valuing group fitness more, and also at a higher level of someone who's a bit more educated on movement. And kind of speaking just to your previous thing before my Zoom kind of cut out there, and I had to log back in. But as far as loans, I agree with Jason and Patrick on this. I have some money sitting in a bank account right now that I haven't really needed so much in the form of loans. I did need the PPP money, like as the sole proprietor. I would not have survived without that money. I would have not been able to pay my bills. So it definitely helped. But at the same time, I think it's less that I need free money. I would rather have the government support us and treat us like, hey, gyms are part of the solution. This is the solution to this problem, not part of the enemy. And, I'm not going to get into like politics or like vaccine mandates, but the fact that vaccines are mandated at gyms and restaurants and not any other businesses really says a lot about how the government and the media really view gyms and fitness. They view it as a way for people to lose weight, look better, but like they don't take into account that it actually benefits people's health. And like you said earlier, Don, like that is the number one form of medicine, exercise, movement. And it's the easiest, most readily available one for us. Sorry, my dog is crazy right here.
And I think that goes to the point. Is that our identity crisis? That people are going to think like, oh, it's just for people who can, go to the gym. It's, it's only people want to tell us how to look and be fit and all that. Is that the identity crisis as far as maybe it can turn into, I know we're not sociologists who run gyms and try to get people healthy. But I think that is part of people's perception of the industry. And does that mean, that's kind of my point of, if you're going to hire a lobbyist as an industry, shouldn't that be part of their goal as far as government and getting the people who kind of make policy for the overall, I guess, government, state, industry, is that it's not just, some country club mentality where you get to work out, it's more than that. I think that is the perception too, because one of the quotes that kind of bothered me when I was reading about this lobbyist, and they're hiring different lobbyists too. It wasn't just one, but her perception was, she came from the candy confectionery industry, and that she was instead of giving away free lollipops, I have to give away, water bottles and, things with like headbands and stuff. And that kind of pissed me off because it kind of gave me the image that she thinks the perception herself of the industry is like, this is some, health and wellness office fair or something where you give away pens and water bottles. No, this is not that. This industry is bigger than that. This is an industry that can change people's lives as far as health, and how that is a bigger part of the industry. It's not just giving away water bottles and pens and things to Congress, to get the people in Congress to understand that this is bigger than you may think it is. And I think I don't know if that's an image issue that's been going on for decades, that I don't know how to change that. Because
Don,
of so many different.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry, Don, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's like, there's so many different aspects of the industry. You have different types of gyms, you have big box, you have small private gyms, you have, I think just the perception of what maybe the people who are in government, who are of a certain demographic, certain type, they think it's a certain thing. It's not really, you're just not doing it. So it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, but the fitness industry is very unique in that the best practitioners are the fractured micro gym owners, like the people that are represented on this phone call. And the people that have power are sort of the soulless corporate, husks of companies, right? So there's this like predetermined, there's like a predetermined necessity that you love what you do, that you bring, like that you're a charismatic, cultural figure within the four walls of your gym. This is something that has not been scaled very well across anything, right? I mean, what's the best examples you can think of are maybe
CrossFit.
CrossFit, but CrossFit's this libertarian organization that's, a many-headed figure, right? So it's one of those things where, so fortunately, yeah, CrossFit does, and we could talk all about the CrossFit culture of it, but the problem is on top of the fact that the people that have any power and voice within fitness and health are the corporate shills, and their hobbies are fucking golf and their boat and their fucking golden retriever. And so they don't necessarily represent us well. And so, yeah, they hand out business cards and they give you pens with the fucking name on it or the cause on it. And that's just not what moves the heart and soul of this industry. It's just not at all. Right. That being said, we already have two other things going against us to start with. And that is, number one, the people that, the only people that are a trump card to the internet is who? Your doctor. And your doctor will never recommend health and fitness and nutrition before they recommend, rehab, surgery, and pills, right? And then the second thing that's counting against us is what we do is fucking hard, which means that even the people that we're giving it to, we've been talking about it so far as if like, oh, if only we could interface with enough people, they would all do the things that we want them to do. Well, guys, I know all of those things, and I still find myself sitting on the couch like a piece of shit sometimes, or eating badly or whatever it may be, because what we do is hard. And so all those things are already counting against us, and then take that and then multiply it by the government putting in the imposed kind of regulation and things that they have over the course of this pandemic. And it's no wonder why money's not going to help any of that.
Right. I think we know as an industry, we've done this. It's if we the psychology of it, we can only ask so many questions, and we can only tap into so many of their fears about why they won't do what they want to do. And that's just something, that psychologists have been talking about. I'm reading a book now about all of that. Daniel Kahneman, he's a leading psychologist in the world. He's very psychology. Just talks about simple, that people will choose to do something that isn't as maybe ethical, then they won't do it. They won't do this versus that. They'd rather take the $5 now versus the $10 later. That was part of all the experiments that he's ever done, that he was talking about in his book, Think Fast or Slow or something. I forget what the name of the book is. But it's all about we'll pick
values and beliefs. It's about our values and beliefs, and that starts in the household. What does that household honor? Do they honor, going to college? Love, family, health, what is your values, what is your beliefs, and it starts there at a society. And, it starts in our schools, getting them to start moving right. That's the only thing that I think government could be responsible for, is getting something that actually teaches these kids, hey, guys, this is important. Learn to squat, learn to bend forward at the waist, learn to pull, learn to push. This is what happens when you push. You got to breathe
Strength.
out.
Yeah. And
I'm a big, go ahead, Don.
Right. And, I don't see that on an academic level either. When I teach, I always bring this up. I ask all my students about what they've learned as far as exercise science, fitness in schools. Rarely do they even know what we're talking about. Maybe some schools, depending on their, where they're at and what their levels of how much revenue they have to put towards. They don't know how to do any of that. They don't know how to do a bicep curls, squat. Maybe some schools touch on CrossFit and something like that, but they don't know any of it. They learned that only because either they were student athletes already, so they kind of knew, but outside of that, they don't know a lot. So maybe that's what I'm talking about. You're gonna put a lobbyist in there, maybe that can be policy. It's more about getting policy in school. So, Chris can go to Hinsdale and teach those classes to the teachers to show them what actual exercise is. I know that's what Chris has been doing as far as networking and outsourcing, getting out there, teaching schools. And I know there's schools that teach CrossFit too. For, Jason, you may have seen those schools that go into elementary schools, high schools, that start them off with a beginner kit of, CrossFit boxes and stuff. And, Chris, I know you do. I mean, Patrick, I know you do. You have the Warrior Kids programs because, the suburbs, I think they just love programs. First of all, if you have kids, you want them out of the house anyway. So you'll pay anybody anything to get them out of the house. You'll pay.
That's exactly right.
We'll pay any amount of money to get the kids out of the house. You go take her, give them to Patrick, let them do box jumps or something. We don't even care. That's kind of a foregone conclusion. If you have it, get them out of the house. We'll pay you anything to get them out of the house so we can rest for a few minutes. So selfish, yes, but still activity. Who cares? So
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I really think that strength training and investing should be subjects taught in high school. I think there's just two things that are just really kind of undervalued in our society. Like teaching kids early. I had, this is a funny story. I had a first year exercise science student intern, who Don definitely was not one of your students, but he came in and I asked him to write a workout for me. One of his first days he was there just so I could kind of get an idea of how much he knew. Mm-hmm. And he wrote down, and I was reading it and I'm like, what does this say? He's like, dumbbell chest press. And I said, dumbbell? He says, yeah, it's the, with the dumbbells. And I said, okay, so you think that they're full of shit?
Yeah, from Urban Dictionary.
Dumbbells. Yeah, dumbbells.
Funny.
But
that's bad, yeah.
Yeah, funny story.
Well, that's honestly the reason why I went from the business side into teaching, because I had interns working for me when I was running clubs. I would have a bunch of interns from the city universities, and I would be like, and I would just look at them. I'm like, what are they teaching you over there? And these are professors that I knew from those schools because I went to that school. So I'm like, what are they teaching you over there? And then I would call professors. I would be like, let me come and talk to these kids or something. And that's kind of how my transition went. Because you're right, I was seeing interns that didn't have a basic idea of that. And that could just be the program. I don't know, or the kids. Who knows what they are? But yeah, I agree.
One thing Jason said too earlier that kind of spoke to me too is just how how many doctors actually refer someone to a personal trainer. Someone comes in, they have a lot of health problems, like why not refer them to a personal trainer? And it really rarely happens. Like I actually got off the phone earlier today with a chiropractor who referred someone to me, and we were discussing like what he was going through and what kind of how we would program a workout for him to get him better. And we both just said, it's really rare that you find someone who is willing to do that and have that conversation to really do what's best for for the patient, for the member, for the client.
Absolutely. And it shouldn't be rare. But it's my belief when you spread good, that's what will happen. Just keep spreading. I think the true problem is starting in the households. And, you know, Chris, I love that you're going into schools. So am I. We have 12 schools that we go to after school. We're trying to inspire these kids. Say, hey, man, you can be an athlete. You can find that inner warrior inside of you, you know, that person that you want to be, that confidence. One other thing, I caught you that you said you were innovating. You've made your own app. I did as well. We made our own content, and I did the exact same mistake. What company did you use? I used
Wellness Living.
Oh, Wellness Living. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you like communicating with the programmer all day and trying to switch it around and make it like, you know, work for you?
I did it at first. Yeah. Now we're kind of past that, but yeah. And I kind of wish I had just bit the bullet and just kind of did it all on my own. It was
a big investment, you know, to buy that.
Well, that was the point with you guys. Are you going to let other companies, you know, it's kind of like the whole restaurant industry with the food delivery apps. They're taking part of the profits. Is that something that we'll see in the future that you guys can take control of? And do you want that responsibility as a business? Do you guys have, now I've got to start programming this stuff too? Or is that something that maybe once, you know, your business is kind of in a certain mode, you can add other things to it, more services based on the new model that we've come up with? Is this something that you want to spend a lot of your time with, creating new apps that will help long term, or is that more of a cost effective type thing?
I mean, I think, Chris, have you been having a lot of luck? Did you pull a lot of revenue from creating the app?
No, not really. No. It was more for ease of members. I mean, it's definitely made it easier for our members to kind of sign up for sessions and book things. Yeah. There's fewer bugs with this. I used to use Mind Body. You know, in that sense, it's easier, but I mean, we haven't pulled any revenue at all from it.
Right. I'm going through the same thing as you, brother. So we're very similar there. I mean, it wasn't a profitable endeavor. We do use it to establish some, you know, habits and things like that if they buy coaching. So there's a task that shows up for, you know, sleep or nutrition or something, but it's not profitable. I think we'll get killed by the bigger guy all day. They have the money, they have the cash flow to make these apps so cool and unique. And I think that we can't win against that, you know, because they got the money for it. They're always going to make it better.
They have more help. They have more, revenue to invest in it. Whereas, it's just tougher because when you're a smaller business, you're doing everything, you know, and you eventually hire people to do other things, but it's, you know, you can't scale it as fast enough if you don't have the capital right away.
But we have the value, you know, you can't learn martial arts online. You can't. There's no such thing, you know, and so
there is, but it's not the most effective, obviously.
I don't know how you do that. That really? What do you mean? There's martial arts online, like
like
there
YouTube.
Is.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
and there's
YouTube, and then there's there is actually a ranking system,
but that's more video online.
But
a lot of the guys
it's kind of a jump to real, people who really train, but.
Here's my take on it. I haven't really talked about the remote stuff. We did it. But the core values of what made me a brick and mortar gym owner are not the same as the person who started Peloton. Right. And so why the fuck would I try and compete with the person who was already out there setting up these types of things? That being said, like, that's not to disparage Patrick or Chris or anybody that's done online stuff. You know, I work with gym owners and we advised a lot of them to do that. The thing though that we do well is community and being in the room and those types of things. And so when pandemic hit, we did have classes online multiple times a day, but we also were doing trivia games once a week. We were doing, you know, coffee chats with the owner every single morning at 10 a.m. We would do a live table read of like a comedy sitcom script once a week. We were doing all these community things because that's what fucking people want from us. Right. And at the end of the day, you know, if, you know, if you told me tomorrow that the future of fitness was going to be the shake weight, I wouldn't be able to pivot to that and succeed, because it's not the thing that I'm, energized about or, ready to go out and evangelize to the world. And so for me to compete, for me to have an app like Chris has mentioned and Patrick has mentioned for when my client's out of town, or if we get shut down because of some COVID wave.
Yeah,
totally.
no, that's it.
I'm not pivoting my business away from the core values of why we're here in the first place. And frankly, I think we've proven, Peloton's in the news right now is stopping production because they've kind of peaked a little bit.
Well,
and that's
since you brought that up, I wanted to talk about that bit of news, just because is that one of those instances where, okay, first of all, you could think about the other instances why it doesn't, because people aren't at home. Maybe people aren't as home as much anymore, so they're out. So they're not going to pay for a service continually like that. So does that shift one of those things where people were buying home gym equipment that was really popular and successful, but that was more of a specific subscription-based workout, and those companies are usually owned by bigger companies, fund companies, so they have a lot of cash that can pour into it. But still, even if you have that cash, it still wasn't really pushing. It didn't really help it survive as much. Now we can think about why it didn't survive, but that's also one of those things where you can see where the market gets tired of a specific, popular piece of equipment, and then they just push it aside because I'm not paying whatever $30 a month. Keep doing this. Is that good? We're meaning like, okay, people either go back to the gym now, or they're just not going to work out anymore because I'm not paying more for my bike with the instructor anymore.
It's all going to be based on the person's priorities. That person's going to prioritize what is important to them. And if a person does have the priorities to stay at home and, do more business or stay with his family, there's going to be a company out there that's going to meet their needs. They're going to come up with something, whether it's tonal, whatever it is. There's always going to be companies that are going to meet the needs of the people. And whatever that person's priorities are, they're going to do it. And if that person's priority is not to go to a gym, then there will be a company to figure out how to take it to the next level. And, some of these companies are kind of cool. I'm looking around, but nothing could ever replace that in-person, instruction. It'll never happen. Never, ever. And especially in martial arts, it never will happen. Never can happen because it's physicality.
Or personal training. That's one thing that if you could have anybody, if there's some kind of retention towards personal training. I can't think of a service or a business that is needed more in any gym, whereas people think, oh, I want to pay for personal training. I joined the gym, maybe I'll take some class, but I don't. I think you just have to have somebody kind of mentor you if you're especially if you're new into it, to survive and do personal training. And Chris, that's kind of your model. You do private group training too, correct? One-on-one, you do groups, you do classes, and that's how you keep them going, I think.
Yes, yeah. And I think part of the reason that Peloton is not doing so well now is because, it's not strength training. Like strength training has that progressive overload where people are progressing through movements and they're getting better. They're building on things like a skill. Just like in martial arts, you get better, you get more skilled as time goes on. If you practice things, same thing with strength training, you're going to get stronger. Whereas Peloton, you're on a bike, it's doing part of the work for you. So it's just not going to be as dynamic. It's not going to be as fun. It's not going to be as easy to build a community because like with a community, you have people who are, struggling through these things together, or they're having successes together and they can lean on one another. Like, as Jason said earlier about building a community. And that's kind of what we intended to do with our app. We were thinking more as like a value add to our members who are, hey, you can't work out because you're traveling. Like, hey, we have our app. You can log in, do a class online. You can do the recording later on. Or if you can't make it to the gym that day because, we live in Chicago and it snowed 8 inches the night before, you can stay home and do that. So, but yeah, to both of your points, it's never going to replace in-person actual training around other people who you can connect with in person.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is what we do is hard. And so there's only so many people that are going to do it at home. Do I have any doubt that if we put Chris in prison, he'd come out with an 8-pack and maybe be better at jiu-jitsu technique? Absolutely, because he's that guy. But when we're in the room with somebody, we have community, right? Which is just shorthand for a million different things that anybody listening to this that's been involved in any community would understand. But number two, the person is borrowing your confidence, your energy, your love of fitness, your knowledge, all of those things. Well, a Peloton or a Bowflex or a fucking Selecta weight or whatever, any of these things, something else will come down the road.
Yep.
The new boxing bag or the rowing one that's out there. These are great pieces of technology, but ultimately we're human beings. And so at the end of the day, if there's not somebody that's going to come to your house and tell you to take your coats off of the Peloton and fucking sit on it for a while, then why would you? Because that's just the fact. It really comes down to what we do is hard.
Yep.
And so until we can find a way to change the reward or value system or even just momentum of children and adults and just people in general towards seeking things that are hard for the greater benefit that lies on the other side, I just don't think we make any kind of headway, regardless of technology.
So again, that goes back to the original idea of identity issue, because if you look at our market, you look at the demographic of who you are marketing to, who continues to use gloves, you have to broaden that, because we only see, whatever obesity numbers go up or whatever the heart rate numbers go up. So are we just still talking to the same group of people over and over again? Or is it a market that we have to tap into a different demographic? Meaning, most of the people that we see have a certain expendable income, they have a certain education level, and it's not so much, it's more of an issue of how do we broaden that scope to get those numbers above where we need to, where we're at 40% of obesity basically in the United States, and tapping into a new market? Or is it that's what's keeping our market alive, is the same group of people? I don't know. Big companies try to tap into other countries and other demographics to try to expand the markets. Do we need to do that? I mean, is that something that you see happening?
I think guys like us should collaborate and, start a nonprofit, make sure that we can give it to everybody, lead by example. We have to show these people. We're always going to have the same amount of people. I mean, it's always the same person. People, to Jason's point, people are gone. They're just fearful. They don't want to do what's hard. You have to get them to overcome their fear, whatever fear of failure, fear it's going to hurt, fear of stimulus, fear of I'm going to look stupid, fear I'm going to get judged, fear, whatever it is, fear of, it's all fear. People don't want to do it. They're scared and they're lazy, and it's hard. If we lead by example, we provide programs that give people inspiration, which I really think is the key. It's the inspiration that people need. I think that's the key, and I don't know how to do that. Starting a nonprofit, something I want to do in the future, hopefully, if I'm grateful enough someday, I would like to do that. But I think all you can do is lead by example, and it's a person's choice if they want to be part of that or not, and they can choose to or not. It's their personal choice.
No, I mean, yeah, there's always, that's the tough thing. It's always, especially for this type of industry, it's people who either know about, have done it previously, have previously worked out, so they understand how to work out, or anybody who's new, they need to be kind of worked into the process of how to stay fit and keep continuing to eat properly. So there's that, and then there's the group that we need to reach. And I don't know if that's top down or if that's where you're going to do government policy. That's where we kind of have to start in schools that we've been talking about. I think again we've still been talking about that, making exercise science available in school to all students. Why not? Why isn't it science? Why aren't we teaching this in schools to teach them from the ground up? It's usually, if you see kids in programs, it's usually parents who do this stuff that get kids in programs. Or sports, obviously kids do all kinds of regular sports, traditional sports that are into it. But this is kind of at its core something that they need to learn on an elementary level, maybe high school level, to teach them how to do a bicep curl or a dumbbell bench press, you know.
I don't know. They learn chemistry. Are they doing chemistry at home? No, they're not. And the reason is because Chris is doing the right thing, but who's picking them up from school? Who's setting the example in their house? It's their parents. And when I go roll in jiu-jitsu and I see this great kids program and I see their fat as shit parents sitting on the bench on the side of it, it makes me want to throw up. And so I have a 6-month-old daughter. It's our first child. I cannot wait until she's 2 years old and I can start to take her in. You know what I mean?
It's much easier then too.
Right. Play with your kids, have a good time. And so, Don, not to be contrarian, like I totally agree with you. Yes, Chris, what you're doing is great. But if invite people to the house, invite people to go for a ruck march, invite people to go swimming, play with kids now, but it has to be parents that are doing it, because at the end of the day, look, you can be in the Boy Scouts. I can teach you, like I said, chemistry being in the kind of the boring example is like the kids aren't going home and being like, Mom, let's fucking get on a Bunsen burner. Like it just doesn't happen because it's the parents at the end of the day. And so at the end of the day, it really is, it has to, if not every parent's going to play with their kid and keep them active, well, then maybe what we do, like the small example is I go on ruck marches. I live in the dunes now. I go on ruck marches with some of the neighborhood dads and the kids. It's so small, but it's a start, right? It's something.
Do you serve, Jason?
Now, no, but yes, in the past.
Where'd you, Army, Marines, Navy?
Army, yeah, Army.
Army. What were you? I was in the Army.
Oh yeah, I was I stationed in Kitzingen, Germany, out near like Würzburg, so like Bavaria, and then
okay.
Yeah, how about you? And Georgia.
Oh yeah, I was at Benning. I'm guessing I was at Bragg. I was
nice.
second.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I was in Signal, so I was
because I knew you guys, served, so it was kind of a talk about it in industry.
Infantry?
No, I was Signal Corps.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was a cable dog. I pulled cable and dug holes in the desert.
Okay, right on, man. We needed you.
Pat,
we needed you.
Did you parachute? I forget what you.
Yeah. Parachute infantry.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Your parachute?
I hope. Yeah, we had a parachute. We jumped so freaking low. The safety parachute that didn't matter. So, but yeah.
Probably just landed like.
Dude, we don't land. We crash. We're not like the SEALs that come down all like cool, and like, oh, you got our weapon. No, we just go.
You didn't do the Iron Man landing. You didn't do the Iron Man landing. You go like that.
I mean, I would try.
That's what I pictured you when you were telling me about this when you were a young kid. Telling me about that.
But out of a perfectly good airplane. Yeah.
As far as industries, I think let's talk about that as far as how it's creeped into our culture as far as tactical and military fitness has, for men at least, and some women too, I've noticed, as far as how ruck marches, events where you would do kind of mini buds or tactical type of training that we've seen now for people, and how that became popular. What do you guys think about that? You've seen these companies by former military have developed companies. You have SealFit, you have Sheepdog, you have, there's probably a handful of companies, Steel Grinder PT, Brad McLeod, and all these companies that have come along that is a new kind of genre of fitness. What do you guys think about how, have you heard people who have done these events and why they've done it? Just men wanting to do man things and women wanting to do tougher things?
I think people are attracted to strength, and military, I think, represents that. So I think that's going to gain a man that has that, desire to be, a provider or, a sheepdog or something like that. I don't think it's its own separate type of fitness. What does military training mean? What the fuck does that mean? I was a combat instructor. I don't even know what that military training means. Does that mean running? Does that mean rucking? Does that mean push-ups, pull-ups? Okay. Basically. I don't know. So I don't think it's a type of training. I just think people honor that. And the last thing I have to say about the military is that, Israel puts everybody in the military in 18. You can fucking do that here in the United States of America. You get to get everybody to learn, that way. Israel, you got to go into the military. I think that's one of the best things.
Right. Mandatory mental service. Right.
I don't want to sound like a dictator, but I'm saying, I don't know. Israel, I think that's kind of cool, actually. That's
Yeah, and
just
it wouldn't
my
have to be just to that little point. It wouldn't have to be military because Rogan asked the general that was on last week. I think it was McMaster, and he was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! We have to like lead these people, and if they don't want to be there, that'd be rough." But there are countries. I think
Right.
is it Switzerland? There are countries where they have mandatory service, so you could go into something like the Peace Corps or Teach for America or whatever. I think there's definitely something to that, to learning to serve ahead of time.
Well, I think that ideology is more about their country. I think they have a different type of love of country because it's so small and just learning to protect themselves. Obviously here we have a little different view on that. I think that was the point. It was, yes, that would be great, but then you have people that don't want to do it, and you have to try to lead them. Have you ever tried to? It's bad enough trying to get somebody to do push-ups and sit-ups that maybe want to be there, don't want to be there. But I think generally you guys see people who do want to be there. They sign up, they want to be pushed, they want to be led. You're not going to get a lot of people that don't. And I think that's the demographic that I wish we can get. I mean, if we can get that percentage of people, the numbers as far as percentage of people who actually do exercise on a regular basis, it's tough to gauge because you have a smaller group who do what we see. It's always the same demographic, very small. And there's a larger percentage that kind of do the basics, and then there's a percentage that do nothing, which is the majority of our population in America that don't do anything. And we can't convince them to do that as much as we can convince them to do a mandatory service in the United States because we don't have to. Maybe is that how do we do that, or is this just something that we could only do what we do on a daily basis running our businesses, and we have to get people involved in government like the lobbyists to go back to the beginning? Do we need more people over in there pushing policy to kind of help this build a bigger market for the industry, or get people, whether it's for
parents, it's generations. Go to the parents, and it'll work. Parents.
Yeah, in general, I'm not a big fan of military government intervention, but I think to your point earlier about this emergence of whether it's SealFit or shout out to SealFit, but shout out to Sheepdog. I did that for my bachelor party. It was amazing. I probably told you that. I think it was when we were rolling, Don. But yeah, unbelievable. Tim Kennedy is an American hero and a treasure. And this isn't to toot the CrossFit horn. I own a CrossFit gym, but
let's talk about
it's not to toot the CrossFit horn too much. But you're wearing a CrossFit shirt right now, Don. The cultural impact of CrossFit, whether you do CrossFit or not, it doesn't matter. It's the idea of functional fitness really came into play right around the time that like 300 came out and CrossFit was kind of coming on the scene. So all of a sudden, I think that kind of trickled down to like, if you look at the cover of a women's magazine today, you're going to see a girl with thick quads. She's going to have a bigger butt. She's going to have broader shoulders than if you would have looked at that magazine 15 years ago. And so if there's any headway we've made into like popular culture or like the zeitgeist of America, it's that, functional fitness or just fitness in general, whether that's in the form like women fighting, women powerlifting, the sort of the Vitruvian male and female of American zeitgeist has changed. And I think that the seed of that was CrossFit, but then it spreads, of course, to functional fitness gyms like Chris's or, BJJ gyms, or even Orange Theory, which is certainly not, based on CrossFit, but it's this, I think it spreads from that idea, and instead of the selector machines and the other stuff like that.
Okay, so just to sum up, I know you guys are busy, and I asked a lot of you as far as your time on a snowy day today on Friday. So just to kind of sum up, it looks like as far as innovation, we've added maybe online classes to our businesses to kind of now to help supplement, because now I think, would you guys agree that you guys kind of have a grasp of what you need to do going forward should anything pop up, barring, because this was new to us, there was a place where our business relied on people. If you can't come inside the door, you can't have a business in a sense. Sure, you can do it at home, but that was a completely that was more of a desperation, and you wanted to keep your members. They wanted to work out, but you couldn't. So let's do it online. So now going forward we know how to hold this business. Now we can keep our doors open. Do you think you guys have a grasp on, now you know how to survive in a extreme situation like this? Because this totally changed so many things as far as business and the health club industry. No people, no gyms really. So is it something you guys got a grasp on now? You going forward feel confident?
I mean, fellas, Jason and Chris, are you guys having problems finding people right now?
Like employees?
Employees?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not as much, honestly. I was like 6 months ago, but now it's been a bit easier.
Chris, can I pick your brain later, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of problems, finding coaches.
Yeah,
you're not alone.
I think
you texted me. You were looking for people, and I didn't know that many people out in the suburbs. In the city, people were booked in a sense. The people who were busy. So they're like, man, I would love to. Like, I would love to get more expand, but I'm so busy now because people aren't working, I think. So is that an issue now? Labor?
I think people have been driven away from the fitness industry. That's what I think. I think they don't want to come in there because of the risks. That's what I think. Well, and I think a lot of trainers. Go ahead.
No, that's true. I'm still friends with a lot of people who run the big box gyms. The big companies, and it's all labor. They're not going 24/7 anymore. We know that. We've read that in Chicago and the bigger chains that used to be 24/7. Now it's closed by a certain hour. Weekends closed by a certain hour. No more 24/7. You can't find staff. Nobody wants to work, or sick. So that changes the model as far as your whole business model was 24/7. You can't do that anymore. It's gone. So now different playing field. So labor is one.
We've been very fortunate because we always have drafted our staff as opposed to trading for our staff. So I like to call it that. Like we identify a client who falls in love with fitness and, is a part of the community. They're showing up at the barbecues. They're doing this, that, and the other. Well, then that person becomes an intern, and then they end up being a coach. And we also have something like 15 people on staff, right? Most of them part-time.
That's essentially our model too.
And that model has done really, really well. However, I have multiple clients that have really struggled to hire. I think that, there's no shortage of people leaving their jobs. There's no shortage of people staying unemployed. I think that there's a macroeconomic effect that's gone on over the last 2 years of people making big changes. I've left 2 different businesses in the last 2 years. I mean, so that has to say something. And I think when it comes down to it, the whole country's borderline depressed, right? We're not acting in our own best interest, and hopefully we can wake up from that soon. But it definitely, to answer your question, to your point though, Patrick, it's a lot harder to trade for other experienced talent right now. And if you don't just have a client that's like ready to go, it's a pain in the ass. And I've seen it from a lot of folks.
You've got to be able to afford to bring that full-time person on, which, I actually, and Patrick, I might have somebody for you. I interviewed somebody a week or 2 ago who was excellent fit. I would have hired her, but she was looking for full-time work. I was just like, right now we just don't have it. It may happen in a couple months, but I can't promise it right now. So I really loved her. She may be a good fit for you. So I could even make that introduction.
Chris, thank you very much. I'll get your phone number from Don.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I think we're on the thread, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be magnificent. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, so we know labor shortage is one. Just to sum up the shop. Is this whole online class, is that going to be a sustainable? You guys are going to keep that as far as a added revenue, or is that more of a retention service if you need it?
I personally can't stand by it. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. For me, it's not like a huge expense adding the online in, since we're already doing classes in person anyway. We just stream it. So it's really not an added expense. So I don't really see any reason to get rid of it.
Okay.
And it is a good value add for people, but at the same time, like, I don't want to compete with Peloton or Tonal or any of these other companies who have these huge production budgets to make our virtual like this
Mhm.
like gleaming amazing thing. I'd rather stick to what I'm good at, which is training people, building community, things like that.
The core business, good, which is, I mean, that's just, I just want to talk about things that have developed out of this that maybe we keep, or we just stick to the core business, which is, that's what people want. And that's what is the science shows works. You have to actually be in the gym doing working out. Online classes, sure, if you need it if you're traveling or at home, just supplement. So it sounds like that's kind of be an ongoing thing with businesses. Jason, CrossFit, you guys
Fellas, I don't want to be disrespectful. I have a 12 o'clock. I apologize. I'm going to head off, right? But it's been very good talking with you guys. I mean that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great meeting you, Patrick.
All right, guys. We'll finish up
Thank you,
here.
fellas.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Patrick.
You got it.
Take care. Jason, Chris, we'll finish up too because just for the sake of your own time.
Yeah, I'm good.
And could always have other discussions too about the way things are going on in the industry. There's always things to talk about, and we'll save that for another discussion. But I want to appreciate your time, Jason, CrossFit, Chris, also fitness. Thanks for your time. And we'll do this another time. I want to talk about more topics coming up. I had a lot more things I want to get into, but again, there's always time for podcasts all the time.